Hi, Lou here, and I'm going to talk this time about the perhaps most common and most varied way of ending a game these days, which is some kind of time limit. And the time limit can be as simple as play a certain number of turns and the game is over. This is very common for historical games because we base the time limit on history. My game Britannia is 16 turns long, and that covers 1,000 years of British history, and I figured that was more than enough. But of course, you could have the same 1,000 years covered in 9 turns or 6 turns, depending on how you arrange the game. So in a sense, it's arbitrary. And there are many Euro games where the game ends after a certain number of turns. The game designer decided this was the best number of turns, and that also is arbitrary. Now, another way to do this is to have a particular point goal for the leader. And when the leader reaches that point goal, the game is over. Winky, for example, which most people pronounce Vinci, but I understand properly the Latin pronunciation Winky. Usually you play to 100 points, and whoever gets to 100 points first wins the game. Unfortunately, in the case of Winky, the way it works is there's terrible leader bashing going on, and you don't want to be in the lead getting close to the end of the game because you'll be ganged up on and somebody else will win. But that's a flaw of the game, not of the method. You can have dice rolls to decide when a game ends. After a certain number of turns, you roll a die, and you can have it be the same chance each turn, or you can have it be increasing chances as the game goes on and there are more turns. You could have a chit draw, which is just a variation of rolling dice. You can have no ending at all, as in role-playing games. The individual sessions end usually when the players leave the area where they're adventuring and go back to their base. But the campaign can continue essentially forever. Now, more recent RPGs tend to have level limits, and the player characters then retire when they reach that limit. So that, in a sense, is ending of the game for that character. And of course, so is death of the character. But the game can go on because there are other characters involved. So there are a lot of variations of this time limit. And sometimes when you reach the time limit, it's because somebody has won the game. And sometimes when you reach the time limit, you count up points. And of course, as I've spoken of elsewhere, essentially all games, or almost all games, are point games, even if there's just one point. If you think of a game where there are several territorial objectives, those are points. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Thanks for listening.